You said I'm never black on the application. But so are you black right now on this podcast?
No, I can never really be black.
What are you?
I can only understand black.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I understand the mentality of black. I understand the concept of it, but I can never be black, no. Mm-mm. No.
Okay, so then what space are you occupying?
So now me technically, I mean, I don't really, I can classify myself as many things, you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't, I'm careful with the classifications too, because I don't want to get locked into any particular thing.
Yeah, sure.
So, I just want people to understand that the biggest problem we have as far as race control and manipulation is the fact that we've been taught, to be or to become a particular thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Black doesn't have any historical race behind it. No history of a race called black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to build off of that. So when I get asked the question, what's the first step for black people to start reestablishing themselves as a nation, is to realize that black is not a nation. Black is not a people. Black is nothing. It's a crayon color.
Welcome back to another dope episode of Finding Your Niche with Niche. I am your host, Nisha Rogers. And y'all, I have a lot of people come on the show and talk about how they found their niche, but this person has really, really, really niched down. And not even just niched down, but is essentially becoming a history maker. I'm so excited to talk to the person that's sitting across from me, Chief Generalhail. How are you doing today? And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk to you because, for one, I don't think I know anybody who's doing what you're doing. Like, first of all, congratulations to that.
Appreciate it.
If you guys want to know about this specific niche, this thing that I'm speaking of, have you ever met anybody or do you know anyone who decided to start their own nation? Like, for real. Like, do you guys know anybody who's doing that? Like, for real. But you, my friend, are essentially like creating nation inside of a nation, micronation, the Malachian Empire. Can you talk to us about what that is and what it means to you?
Yeah, so the Malachian Empire, like you said, is classified as a micronation. So that's a nation inside of a nation. It started as a family tribe. So it's pretty much our family structure and foundation. And the tribal aspect of it is just us, exploiting our nation outside of that, so pretty much expand the whole family or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we allow other family members to be adopted inside of our family.
Okay, I love that. So you're saying the term family. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to me what you mean by that?
Family is the foundation of everything. So everything is established off of our family trust. So we have family land trust. We have individual trust for each family member. We have family life insurance trust to help sustain and to grow the generational wealth of the family. And so the same tactics that we use in our family, we just share that with our adopted family members that become tribal members of the family.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I was doing research, and I'm very curious to know who you were, the person you were, prior to like creating this micronation. How would you define the pre-version?
He was always on a mission, you see what I mean, trying to figure out, the answer or the answers to, life's everyday problems or hurdles and obstacles and stuff like that. So, when I was just uncovering things, trying to figure things out, I was just realizing how deep I had to really go to really make this make sense and to really work, not only for myself, for everybody, you see what I mean? So primarily my family. So that's kind of how it happened. I started in different organizations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thinking, just realizing I really have to start my own thing.
Yeah.
So
but I think I think what's interesting about your situation, because there's a lot of people now, which thankfully, in our community, in our culture, there's a lot of people that are growing to become business owners and things of that nature. So it's one thing to like be an entrepreneur and to start a business, but it's another thing to wake up one day and say, I think I want to start my own nation. So I'm curious to know, can you talk to me a little bit about that moment of realization of you coming to that idea and what that was like?
I think it definitely was a moment. I have a lot of moments all the time. I had a moment probably this week sometime. It's always a moment when I'm like, damn, I got to do this.
Yeah.
I got, this has to be done this way. So I can't remember the moment. It just hit me one day where this is what the biggest thing is when I realized, as far as mentally, where it clicks in my mind, because it's a lot of different aspects of like sort of zapping the current program.
Okay.
Because you got to kind of eliminate a certain way of thinking to even think that's even possible. You see what I mean? So
I know. I was like, it seems so like such an insurmountable task. Like it's so huge, it's so big, it has such a grandiose feel to it. Because I'm like, there's a lot of people that's out here like, I want to start a bakery or want to start a clothing line, and you're like, I want to start an entire nation. So it's just like when you think of that, because of the actual grandness and the actual fullness of what it takes to actually do something at that capacity, was it ever at all discouraging to you?
Always discouraging.
Okay.
Because with every level, it's a new level. Every single level is a new level. So it's always, but I don't take it as a negative per se. I kind of embrace it, and that kind of gives me the energy to like develop the fire to break through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it works every time or whatever. It's a mental stimulation too. I kind of get off on it. It's like. Yeah, because once I realize, once I unlock another key, like once I see it mentally, the second I see it, it clicks. It's as good as done. You see what I mean? The second I can go from this level to this level overnight. I've done that. I've been going through a lot of different things just this month alone, because March is like I consider my March Madness, because it's the month leading up to my birthday.
Okay.
So I'm an Aries. My birthday's April 1st.
Okay.
So my objective is, I'm not the person that does a lot of birthday planning. You're like, oh, what are you doing for your birthday? I really care less about that part. My objective is to make sure I accomplish as much of the mission as possible before that particular day, so I can possibly celebrate.
Yeah,
I got you. I don't want any open cases. You see what I mean? If I was starting a book before this, I want to be done with the book. If I was starting this, I want to be decent. I mean,
yeah.
I want to enjoy the pleasures of the end result of what
the fruits of your labor,
of my creations. Yes, absolutely.
Right. I love that. Okay, so give me an example. When you say like March is your March Madness, you've been going through a lot. Like what?
Well, yeah, I'm releasing 2 books.
Dang.
So 2 books.
And you want to try to get all of that done?
They're done.
Okay, they are done
they're just
officially.
Going through the different phase of I'm creating a audiobook version, PDF, hard copy, as well as NFT version.
Yeah.
And I'm also dropping them as an album.
So next stage is the official rollout.
Yeah. And then,
wow.
And then I'm releasing another. I'm releasing an actual music album as well.
Yeah.
A small LP.
That's dope.
Then I've also was in the developmental stages of restructuring our language, because I created our own language, the Malachian language.
Yeah.
So that came with a whole bunch of things. So we have to create new alphabet charts, numerical charts.
So many things. And that's kind of like, I was actually just about to ask you that, because I'm very interested to know, like in totality, obviously the inception of the idea and even the conception, like conceptualizing what the nation looks like and stuff like that. But can you kind of break down to me why you named it the Malachian Empire?
Well, yeah, people ask that a lot. They think it's in reference to something else, but it's not. It just simply, Malachi was the new adopted name for our family. So we had a government name, and then like I said, I wanted to start everything from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah.
So Malachi was that last name. So the first son of that was my my youngest son Malachi. You see what I mean? And it was pretty much just built off of that. And
Okay.
of course Malachi,
So it's not as philosophical as we may.
well, Malachi.
Essentially, it is.
Malachi. My whole name is Neapolis Malik Malachi. You see what I mean? So that's long for Neo. Neo's the one. In the Matrix. Malik, Malachi, they both in some reference to being the messenger,
Okay.
and stuff like. So yeah, there's references and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but outside of that, it was just simple as that, And then of course the long term, as far as for the nation, is being Malachian. So the Malachian heritage, the Malachian culture, the Malachian language, and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so then if a person actually comes into the nation and subscribes to the nation, they become a Malachian.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So can you talk to me about what all entails with being a part of the Malachian Empire?
Anything you could think of, because there's a lot of things that need to be done. There's a lot of things that have been done. So of course, the more people are involved and supportive, to the mission itself, the better it would be, and the faster we can evolve and develop. But of course, that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work is on our shoulders to really get stuff done. But in essence, yeah, they reap benefits of what has already been done. As far as being able to obtain certain things, like identification, vital records, tax exemptions. We currently have our own currency, so they can be stakeholders, shareholders of that.
Yeah.
We have our own marketplace, so they can apply to have a storefront inside of our marketplace to sell whatever products and services that complements the purpose of our people inside of the marketplace. So anything you could think of that in the aspects of a government body, that's what we're building out. We have our Malachian Constitution, our Malachian Bill of Rights, our Malachian.
All of this is like stuff that you developed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Malachian Bible, because every nation has their own religion. So everything we do is based upon our religious beliefs.
So who constructs the Bible, the Malachian Bible? Is that you
I did
too?
the Bible, yeah.
Time out. 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 So wait a second. You out here writing the Bible?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is breaking news. This is breaking news to me. You out here writing the Bible from scratch?
Yeah, I did everything from scratch. I didn't want anybody to come back and say, "Hey, they got this from there."
Yeah, yeah.
I eliminate all.
Can you give
that.
me an example of some of the theology that somebody can find in the Malachian Bible?
Well, the biggest thing is, it's not written like any other type of religious doctrine. We're not trying to sell that upon anybody per se, but it's like just general universal facts.
Okay.
Like and one that we know, like we don't know anything. We either know or we don't know. We don't believe in believing per se, right? So because there's just two different things. So
Okay.
that's a misinterpretation, misconception, which is why many people are more religious, but they think they're spiritual. There's a difference between spirituality and religion. So the big.
So, okay, hold on. Let me put a pin right there. So let me make sure that I understand that. So with the Malachian Bible, one of the biggest theories that you guys believe in is, you said, either you know or you don't know, and you don't believe in the power of believing.
No, you have to have belief. You should have belief, like, in yourself.
Okay.
Belief, and you see what I mean. You have to have that. That's a stimulation, of self growth and stuff like that. But what I'm talking about as far as dealing with certain information.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, you either know or you don't know. You see what I mean? In that aspect. And as far as in aspects of religion and God, we know that the closer you get to self, the closer you get to God, right? So that's just a fact. You see, that's why most religions try to take you and steer you away from self and think that you need a third party to access that source.
Yeah. Okay. So the closer you get to self, the closer you get to God. What does God look like to you?
God is the guy I look at in the mirror.
Point blank. Period.
Yeah, so in order to encourage that and enhance that, we, of course, every church has their religious practices, I mean, we have different practices. Commerce is our practice,
Yeah.
business,
Yep. Yep.
everything we do is for religion, but, our right to travel is our
Mm.
religious practice. But we also have actual sacred ceremonies, in a more spiritual space,
Mhm.
so we do have, a couple different churches right now, one in Washington, D.C. We did have one in Colombia. And that's where we practice our spiritual ceremonies with ancient medicines such as ayahuasca, DMT, Shanga, Sanaga, and Rapé. So,
Okay, you in English like what? You spilling out a whole bunch of things, and I'm very
so, so,
curious to know
so
because I need a lot of healing in a lot of
yeah,
places.
yeah.
So,
These are ancient medicines that's been used from thousands of years ago. That comes from the
so
earth.
like a holistic approach.
Yeah, where it allows a person to go through that door to activate, their pineal, their third eye, that
Okay.
crown chakra. So
Yeah.
it kind of forces that to actually happen in real life instead of trying to make yourself believe that you see what I
Mhm.
mean. So it kind of goes force. Like I say, we don't believe in anything. We take you through that door. So we have ways to go through that. I don't know if you're familiar with it's a trend right now, status correction.
Mm-mm. Put me
Okay.
on game.
Well, I guess it's more in the conscious community where everybody's trying to get their status corrected. We do aspects of that, but we also maintain the importance of knowing the importance of spirit status correction.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So that's why we hold here ceremony is like very important to our religion and
Mhm.
our culture or whatever.
So what is somebody? Do you okay? So can they be separate? Can you be a part of the nation and not subscribe to the religion, or are they kind of one and the same? Is there like you said, a ceremony to where like you join the religion and this is another leg of being a
True.
part of the nation?
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
So yeah, technically, a person can, technically be subscribed to, Christianity, but that don't mean they go to church every Sunday. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's the same deal. A person could technically be affiliated with this or that, or technically be subject as a member of a certain group, but never really
Mhm.
engage. So yeah, but are they obligated to? No, they're not.
Okay.
That is a separate, tier.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
we still would consider the highest tier, of course,
Okay.
the spirituality and culture. But
Mhm.
no, we don't. There's no obligated, features on that. But if
Mhm.
we put things down, as far as departments and tiers, it would be the church. Of course, the church always comes as the head, and then you have the government body, and
Mhm.
everything is inside the church. So
Yeah.
that's where the trust is established, and all the corporations inside of that trust.
Yeah. And speaking of a government body, I'm curious to know what are your thoughts about the U.S. government, and did those thoughts actually serve as a catalyst for you to start this particular micronation?
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, they're definitely an influence on the purpose of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of illegal activities that's going on right now because of the people's, ignorance to contracts. Mainly. So there's a lot of things that have been done unlawful and illegal as far as in relation to, infringing on, our human rights or your God-given rights and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
What's
About,
an example?
I mean, your right to travel, your right to bear arms, your rights. These are, travel is a big thing.
Mhm.
That's a huge right to kind of infringe on or to limit or whatever. But I mean, it's just a play on words, legality of words. And the perception of how we receive them. We believe driving and traveling is two different things.
Mhm.
But if we go back to the original contract, it says that if we want to
When you're
entertain that,
saying contract, what do you
the
mean?
Constitution.
Okay.
All right, if we entertain their constitution, now their constitution might not have nothing to do with ours because why we have our own constitution, right?
Mhm.
See, anybody that we have a right to self-govern, but with that right comes the responsibility to
Yeah.
create government.
Right. Right.
People
Right.
think the whole freedom aspect is like I'm just gonna be free and just neglect the work
Yeah.
of building the structures and the departments to actually move and be respected as that.
Right.
So that's why it never happens.
Mhm.
So all I did was take the responsibility on putting the things together that make sense for an actual government.
Yes. I
And
love
that's
that.
it.
Okay.
And it's been already done before. So there's some things I don't have to have a guesswork. I just have to look at it a certain way, and
Mm.
figure out how to reestablish on my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, in the government contract in relation to the United States, a government or nation, you have the right to travel. It didn't say you had a right to travel if you have a valid driver's license. It said you have a right to travel. It didn't
Yeah.
say you have a right to, you know what I'm saying? Regardless. But now they gave you that information in 8th grade, and you graduated, and then you now all of a sudden when it's time for you to travel, you have no knowledge of the difference between traveling and driving. So you go through the process of an application. If you apply for something that's asking for permission, you don't need permission to gain access to your rights. It's either a right or a privilege.
Yeah.
So rights and privileges is two different things. So they made a contract so for you to waive your rights in exchange for a privilege to drive. You see what I mean? But we don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And it's been so long, and everybody has this contract now and these licenses. It's kind of like it makes it harder when we are legally right, to operate, an automobile without a driver's license.
Yeah.
Not a vehicle. A vehicle is a commercial term used when you're operating in commerce. Now, if you when you get in that vehicle and you're driving Lyft, driving Uber, you're driving a truck or whatever like that, you technically are operating in commerce, so you are using that vehicle to conduct business. So technically you do need a license for that. But if you're driving your private automobile and you're going from point A to point B, for your personal, for leisure purposes and outside of commerce, you do not need a driver's license for that. Or insurance or registration, any of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, same thing with a gun. With guns, having a right to bear arms. We have a right to bear arms, not unless you have a concealed and carry license or unless you have this, and that. We have a right to bear arms, but they removed those rights in exchange for a privilege.
Yeah.
So now the only way to really legally bear arms is to obtain your firearms and
Yeah.
transfer those arms into a gun trust. So now because basically what they did, they sold us an illusion called ownership. So everybody wants to own something.
So it's an illusion?
Nobody owns anything.
Make it make sense. What do you mean?
Okay, if you own this house, you should be able to. Okay, if you really own that house, you own this house, right? But what if you don't pay taxes on that house? What's gonna happen?
It's gonna get taken.
Oh, okay. You own this vehicle, but if you don't pay those tolls or pay these tickets or do X, Y, Z or renew that, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna get taken. So, but then it has to start somewhere. Where is it starting?
What you mean?
You're saying like if I don't own it, it gets taken and it has to get given to someone. So then where does it start?
As far as actual ownership?
Yes, actual ownership. But you're saying ownership doesn't exist.
Ownership within the United States is a trap, is a control trap. Because we're gaining properties that's already been claimed by a third party.
Yes.
Right? So if you really want to own that vehicle, it'd be best to have a relationship with the manufacturer, right?
Okay.
So once he get done creating that vehicle, now he gives me the MCO, the manufacturer's certificate of origin. So that's the birth certificate for the car. That's the original certificate of life for this car. That's before he decided to sell the ownership of the title of. See, we the title holders. Two different things. But title owners and asset owners, two different things. The state on your car title, there's a state on top of it, right?
Yeah.
So anything below that, that's the superior authority. Anything that's at the top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you purchase a vehicle that's already been pre-claimed by a third party,
But
which is a
is
state.
that possible, what you're talking about?
Hell yeah, it's possible. But
To meet that person before they get to the...
to have a relationship with a manufacturer, and yeah, of course.
It's possible?
Now, of course, it's not an easy thing anybody can do.
Yeah.
But unless that happened, you see what I mean? Now we can entertain the concept of ownership.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's why you have to pay a tax on XYZ, or you have to maintain registration. You have to register your vehicle and stuff like that. So that's why you have to do that, because you still are trying to pre-claim some stuff over somebody that already gained superior authority over that. That's the same thing goes with housing.
Yeah.
You purchase a house that's and you don't purchase that house unless you purchase that house and the owner of that house is maybe a foreign trust or a religious assembly or something like that that's exempt from certain areas of tax. Then you kind of not safe from that whole matrix. Or you purchase that property and See, they sold us real estate. Everybody talk about real estate, but we need to focus on the land acquisition.
Right.
So you focus on land acquisition. See, now you
Because there's no more building more, like, no more land. You have to get what's already here.
Exactly. So that's a whole. So I just did research on that. The United States owns like 500 million acres of land,
Wow.
and a lot of it is tribal land.
How do you classify something as tribal land?
Well, it just if it's an Indian reservation, if it's just something that's been maintained over the years by some Indian reservation or indigenous group or whatever, they can't really, no matter what, as much as they want to, they can't intrude on that. 'Cause
Okay.
there's a lot of different gray
Yeah.
areas that they don't want to even infringe on, but they have a system where they keep them separate from us. That's why we don't bump into a lot of natives at the gas station.
Right. But I'm interested because I'm fascinated by the commentary that you have, and I'm interested to know, how do you feel, your commentary about the government. So I am interested to know, how do you feel about white people?
They're cool. I mean, I wasn't expecting that question.
You love white people?
What do you feel about white people? I got white friends.
Okay, like two.
No,
I'm asking you that. No, I'm being funny, but no. I think it's interesting because what I'm really trying to ask you is, I think there's a lot of rightfully so, anger that our community can have towards the government, right? It's rightfully so. You could have anger, but I feel like what you've been able to do, which I will commend you on, is to kind of take that anger or to take that frustration, so to speak, and make it into more of a controlled substance to where you've been able to hone that energy in and kind of transfer that energy into creating the nation. So what I'm trying to ask you, and I say white people because that's predominantly the government when we think about the government. And so I'm curious to know, how have you been able to take that frustration that a lot of people in our community have towards the government and make a positive shift in the narrative of how we can experience culture and life on Earth?
I just think anger in that direction is a matrix within itself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not angry at no white person. You see what I mean? I'm not, anything, like, I was just saying earlier, where it's like, a lot of people might question some of my tactics or whatever, my strategies. I do things to win, to make it make sense, and I want to see the results of it now while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put together the best strategy to make that make sense and make that happen immediately. So that being said, we're an indigenous group. Majority melanated people.
I have to ask you that. So let me stop right there too, because you don't like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't like the term African American.
Well, more so I don't like the term black.
You don't like black people. You don't like when people say black people. Why not?
I don't like it when they say it and they really mean it. As long as you just say, like, I'm not gonna stop talking regular, right?
Right.
But at least I know the difference between, if we want, like, the technicalities of that word and what it represents and what it really is, what it's not. So that's a misrepresentation of that. You can disqualify yourself on, for all different types of things through an application process by classifying yourself as black on the application.
Yeah.
So no, I'm never black on the application.
But are you black in real life?
I don't know. I don't understand that question.
You said I'm never black on the application, but so are you black right now on this podcast?
No, I can never really be black.
What are you?
I can only understand black.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I understand the mentality of black. I understand the concept of it, but I can never be black, no. No.
Okay, so then what space are you occupying?
So now technically, I mean, I can classify myself as many things. You see what I mean? So it's like, I'm careful with the classifications too, because I don't want to get locked into any particular thing.
Yeah, sure.
So, I just want people to understand that the biggest problem we have as far as race control and manipulation is the fact that we've been taught, to be or to become a particular thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Black doesn't have any historical race behind it. No history of a race called black. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? There's nothing to build off of that. So when I get asked the question, what's the first step for black people to start reestablishing themselves as a nation, is to realize that black is not a nation. Black is not a people. Black is nothing. It's a crayon color. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all. It's not. That's why we don't have a lot of rights that we should have. As it relates to the United States, because we disqualified ourselves because we misclassified ourselves
Yeah.
based on what we've been taught. And a lot of things we've been taught in program, we don't realize we've been programmed because that was the whole objective of the program.
Right. Ignorance.
To have people to think thoughts that they think is naturally theirs. That was the whole concept of the movie Inception.
Yeah.
So it's like, just like if somebody marches, if we march, we march, we say Black Power. They taught us Black Power. We praise it, but we actually was taught to say Black Power, taught to march. Where did we learn to march from? Why? Because that's what they did when Martin Luther King was here. We marched. That's what he did. And we rally, we march, and they sit back. They allow that, right? It's like letting children go out to play, get their anxiety, their anger off, and just keep it cool. Don't let it go too far. Then eventually they'll go back home and go back to their regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
That's why things never change. We get gassed up doing a couple events, we praise, and nothing ever happens. You see what I mean?
Yeah. But so then with the nation, with the micronation that you're starting, the Malachian Empire, what is the actual goal? When you see the Malachian Empire at its highest peak, what does that look like to you?
We will be a nation that is respected. When a person infringes on, a member, or they might classify as a citizen of the Malachian Empire, it will at least be to a point where they know they need to contact us first before they make a move. You see what I mean? When they see that identification, when they acknowledge and they respect it. That's the minimal goal. You see what I mean? So if I get that, we good. You see what I mean? Everything else is extra for me on that. Now back to white people. I have no problems with white people at all. I love all people. First of all, what we're doing is it benefits all. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, we have Caucasian members inside the Malachian Empire, and that's a big rule breaker for a lot of black groups. Like, oh, how you got? So I say I will not limit us to access to the resource and information, and just period. By closing those doors, trying to close those doors to them, we also closing doors to ourselves. You see what I mean? So no, if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be able to establish certain branches, in Europe and stuff like that. That's going to give us access to international banking and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that.
Matter of fact, I want more white friends, to be honest with you.
There it is. So do I.
Don't let me like, hey, I want lots of white
because you know
friends.
why? No, I understand what you're saying, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
They have access.
And they're more supportive.
Hey.
Yeah, we went to Canada.
Hold on, time out. Wait a second.
What?
Chief Generalhail Razor just said, you said white people are more supportive in some cases?
In most cases.
In most cases? Why do you, what is that? Why do you think that is?
We are conditioned in so many different areas mentally where, put it like this, like any of my books that I release, I purposely put my name on the front, but it's encrypted in Malachian. So you got to know it in order to know it or decode it or whatever. So I did, but I put it on the back and the actual credits and stuff like that. But I didn't put it in the front for multiple reasons, because I want people to show. I wanted to trigger an aspect on why I did that in general. But another reason was because a person might not buy your book because your name is on it.
Facts.
The person you know.
Facts. That's true.
But if you act like that was a regular book that you got some game out of, whatever.
Let me pass this joint to you, man. This book is crazy.
They gonna order. So I understand the psychology of my black people.
Yeah.
So I know how to trick my black people in order to even save my black people. You got to trick them.
I love that. And you know what? That actually, because I wanted to ask you this too, and it's a great segue, but I was going to ask you, what do you think, or what would you say is the biggest mindset shift that black people need to have in order to see positive change in our community?
Man, it's so many different areas. We are really screwed.
I
You
know.
know, we are really screwed. Well, one thing I can say for sure is that what I see is that first of all we have an identity crisis. You know, the second we actually acknowledge that as a whole, as a nation of people as a whole, the more we can start zeroing in on actual solutions to to dealing with that or whatever. But then outside of that, we have huge issue with comprehending, you know, comprehending information because, like I say, it counteracts against the
Yeah.
current program.
Yeah.
So you say
Yeah.
something, I'll say something over and over again, and then I can see a person's mind just shift. Slow down.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about everything else that's going on in your head. Just listen to what I just said and answer the question. It's like it's very bad. Comprehension is huge. So if we're not comprehending things, how can we?
Comprehension and even retainability. So it's even like even when we understand it, the ability and the capacity to be able to like retain that information, own it, live it, is like a separate thing.
So yeah, we wasn't taught. That's not part of the curriculum. None of the curriculum was designed for you to really to create a person that is that's an open box character that's able to see things between the lines and be able to see things metaphysically in the different aspects. The program is meant for you to remember information, repeat information, and to perform a certain task in relation to continuously building up their establishment.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? If that's the case, certain pieces of information will be inside the curriculum. Think about it. It's like what we have social studies, right? We have his story instead of our story.
Right.
We have you see what I mean? Those are two main subjects that nobody gave a care about. You see what I mean?
Right.
His story and social studies. We knew we just had to do it to pass test. And math is not taught properly. You know what I'm saying? English is still his language.
Right.
It's their language.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, you said you guys have your own language.
Yeah.
How do you say how are you doing in the Malachite Empire language?
Right now it's only written.
Okay.
So I can't even speak it right now.
You can't speak it.
No, so it's like I said, this happened this year.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so will you also be in charge of like figuring out the actual vernacular of how it sounds?
Yeah, so that's why once there's some things I got to fix up as far as everything has to be redesigned per letter. Put it like this. The best way I could describe it is that it's like no matter what we understand about law and stuff like that, we can have all the right tactics and answers. It still boils down to the original contract. So the original contract with the government is the birth certificate and the social security card. So whatever name that's on that birth certificate, if it's in English,
Yeah.
it's still their property because they own the letters.
Okay, I see.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So anything that we do can still possibly infringe on their legal right over the word in general because they own the letter. So once that reality slapped me in the face, like these marks own the letters.
Yeah.
So of course they can control the laws within. You know what I'm saying? It's like and the United States and English is a high authority internationally. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So even Spanish and stuff like that, I believe that, I don't know. I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I believe that they own that too. That particular
Really?
lane,
Yeah.
because it's legalities. You know what I'm saying?
With the micronation that you've created, not creating. What if somebody like me, let's just say for an example, I'm like, dang, I kind of like low key like being African American, but I believe in what you're doing and where you're trying to go. Is there opportunities for like quote unquote dual citizenship?
Yeah, that's what pretty much everybody would be.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't limit what another person is. What doesn't take away from what you're doing. All it can do is complement. Now we do have educational programs and our own curriculums. You know what I'm saying, to kind of remold the mind frame of each individual person so they know how to and how not to conflict with the two or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And how to best have the best of both worlds. You see what I mean? So, and that's really what it's all about, because
Yeah.
both worlds still exist and still will always coexist. So we have to learn how to create a satisfying medium. So it can complement each other.
Yeah. Speaking of satisfying mediums, I'm curious to know, what is your actual favorite thing about being an American, if there is any?
An American. I'm a Malachian.
But you just said there's possibility of dual citizenship. So are you fully converted, or is it like you're still in America though, right? So are you?
So they say.
Oh, wait, is there something I don't know? I thought I was in America too.
I don't know that for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain things, like, yeah, the Earth is round. At least that's what they said. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but we go through the science of gravities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really know? Is that what you?
Yeah.
Like I believe there's life beneath the Earth.
Wow.
There's other aspects of life in this. It's a lot of life in the sea that we just. But how often we gonna go scuba diving to go trying to figure it out?
To
You see what I
figure
mean?
out
to
for
explore,
sure.
like how often do we look up, right? So it's certain things that just are hidden in plain sight. That kind of like, because why? Because we don't have time. See, the whole objective is, now, people have more time on their hands. Yeah, there's a lot of things we'll tap into.
Yeah.
First of all, more aspects of self. You know what I'm saying? But of course, if the system has formulated a system and a program to manage your time, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have time for that. That's the biggest thing. So regaining control over our time is the first thing. That comes with the benefits of reestablishing and take control over your household first.
Yeah.
And understand. And then, like I say, we all have to have a certain intellect and as far as competence on the levels of business.
Yeah.
We can't skip understanding business, because this is all business at the end of the day. Us understanding business and how it relates to what it relates to.
Yeah, and I think that's an important key, and I feel like that's a big facet to why you decided to create the micronation, is so that we can kind of understand how we can develop more power in the space that we take up. And so I'm curious to know, like, for people who are, want to tap into what you're doing, possibly want to become, a member of the nation, what is it exactly about the nation when it comes to business, when it comes to finance, commerce, all of those things that you really want people to understand about what they can do?
Yeah, like I said, we're breaking a lot of traditional, codes when it comes to any aspect of what we're doing, especially when it comes to Black people. You see what I mean? Because a lot of the, Black, African American, or melanated organizations really lack in areas of business. You see what I mean? They have everything else but that. So that's why a lot of things come with the territory. That's why we're able to offer our members business credit directly. We focus. We have areas of focus in law, contract law, understanding trust, establishing trust, navigating with trust. Business formation. All this stuff comes with the whole territory.
Yeah.
Of we teach people to understand how your personal self is your first area of business. People think, well, I don't have a business. Yes, you do.
Self
is your first area of business.
Yeah.
And then your extension of your business is self as it relates to your household and people that you're responsible for. And that's called the family business. If we get this in order, that's inside the house and inside these closed doors, everything else outside these doors comes just like that. We'll get the point. But we don't get the point because we just go to sleep, wake up, go to work to somebody else's business. You see what I mean? So that's the psychology we have. So we got to break that. We got to get back to business. Family is business and business is family. Some people don't like that quote because it makes it seem like, oh, family is not important. You're concerned about business. Family is business and business is family. Whoever understands that concept and live by that code, we'll start seeing results.
That's good. Yeah. I'm curious to know about your family, though. The people who knew the Chicago early version of Neo. What are they saying now? Do they feel like, man, cousin Neo done started a cult, y'all? Like, what is the what is the commentary? Like, I want to know what they're saying and how that has actually impacted you, if at all.
not in a negative way, but it was because I don't have expectations of expecting people to be right there or support, especially in the beginning. Now, I do expect them to be, when I turn around, to be right there when all the bread start pouring in and
Hey.
stuff like that. You better believe that.
Yep.
But so I don't, like I said, never, I never. But like I said, I woke up one day, when I realized it was real. I'm like, without them saying it, just showing me. It's like when I woke up one day and seen, my mother, my father, my auntie, my cousin in class like a regular person. Like didn't tell me they was coming, just
Wow.
didn't some of them even pay to get in.
Wow.
Because I never went and tried to pull none of my family in, like, hey guys, I need you. No, because I've done so many things in different areas of business anyway, I realize that stuff don't work anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I need to, and then a lot of things I'm trying to do, I'm so far behind and we are so far behind where I don't have time to allocate energy into trying to get somebody to get what I'm
You
doing.
don't do a lot of convincing.
No, I'm not your salesman. I'm not gonna do anything. I don't need confirmation or validation from anything outside of myself.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the thing.
And if people want to tap in, can you give the viewers the information if they're like, okay, I really love what I'm hearing today. I want to be a part of what you got going on. How can I join the nation? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, you can always visit us on the web at www.malachianempire.world, MALACHIAN empire.world. Definitely probably follow me on Instagram at Hail Lord Razor. That's HAIL, like Hail to the King. So Hail Lord Razor, RAZOR on Instagram, and just we have a free membership. You guys can get started just to get inside the network. Start building with the community, join us on some calls, and then take it from there.
There it is. So, is the government watching you? Have you had any kind of obstacles of that? Are they watching?
Government's always watching.
But so, have you ran into anything to kind of combat that, like
The government, any government communication has given us light and giving us more power because
Really?
Yeah, because now we get letters directly from government officials in ink.
Okay.
In communication in relation to something that's going on, maybe a member and stuff like that. So every aspect of the goal that you said that I'm looking for is really already there.
Okay.
So now we're just expanding on that.
Okay, so if people want to be a part of it, they don't need to be afraid or discouraged. Like it's easily accessible.
Oh yeah,
to be a part of the
really
nation.
Is. It really is.
Okay.
It's man. We always fine tuning and simplifying everything. But like I say, even though that's being done, I think I've simplified things so much. It makes it even harder for people to understand because it's too simple.
Yeah.
Because people, the adult mind looks for things to be more difficult. So yeah, it's hard, because of that. But we're gonna keep eventually.
Yeah.
I think once we launch the curriculum, because this is a new, like I said, this is within the past month. Within this month, when I woke up, I'm like, wow, I really have to establish. Like we have general studies in school.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to provide that now, general studies, because I'm going against that program that they already have. But I have to give a program in order to say,
Right.
I can't say that's wrong and not have a solution. You see what I mean? So yeah, that's the next move. So
That's amazing. Is there any part of you at all? Because I know you said the goal for you, the peak of what it would look like for your nation, to be kind of what you envisioned is to have respect. But is there any element or facet of you that's like there's a number tied to it where it's like, okay, well, I would want, or ideally I would like to have at least, for an example, 2 million people to be a part of the nation. Is there any number attached?
Oh, yeah. I need all of them. But I have tactics and strategies. Like I say, I want thousands, millions, and stuff like that. That, and I know that's going to come over time. I'm not even really worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, of course, at least 1 million. Give me at least 1 million. You
Okay.
See what I mean?
Okay.
Well, yeah, because the more people, the greater the population, the more we can do. Collectively, the more there's power in numbers. You see what I mean? So we do things in a political fashion. We have voting. We're gonna have a Malachian election. You see what I mean? Actually, people in that play position in particular offices. Higher councils, lower councils. The elders. It's like we're really gonna do that, and that's when we start. Really developing the Indigenous Aboriginal United Nation, where now we have the heads of different tribal organizations and other melanated organizations. Now we come together to address, problems and invert certain solutions.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
love that. Okay. And as we get ready to close, the other thing that like I think about when I think about you is there ever a day, let's just say it's just like a Tuesday, where you're like, you know what? I'm tired of I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm
today.
tired of like doing this whole create a nation. I actually want to start my food truck business and like not do all of this other stuff. Do you have any of that where you kind of sometimes feel like, dang, I'm too far in, but like I kind of want to give it up, but you don't.
That's the key. That's the thing. What you just said. I'm too far in to even consider certain things. You know what I'm saying? There's no. I don't even have a desire though, because anything that I really want to do is kind of still in relation to the entire mission. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
big
saying?
picture.
All I do is make it that. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm still gonna be dropping a hip hop album. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm still speaking in certain codes in relation to what we're talking about. I'm spitting law
Yeah.
verse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, but it still sounds like some street stuff. But I'm doing that. I'm decoding it and translating it because these are the people that need to
Yeah,
to hear
yeah.
it. So it's just different ways of communication to kind of get the people's attention or whatever, and to simultaneously let people know that I'm still a real person,
Yeah.
and I'm still a regular person, and that's from a certain place that typically wouldn't even make
Right.
it out of the hood type. So
Yeah.
so that alone shows possibilities which can stimulate evolution in a person individually. You know.
I love that. Okay, so as we get ready to close, let's see how much of a real person you are. And if the people out there, if the viewers can resonate with you, because I want to know too. Top 3 best rappers of all time. Who are they?
I would say I would give one to Jay-Z.
Jay, okay.
But just because, not just because it's raps, because he's a master in business
Okay.
and relationships. You know what I'm saying? And it happens to be a good rapper. Jada Kiss.
Wait. Wait.
Exactly. Got to give it to Jada.
Kiss, really?
Yeah. for
No,
sure.
wait. Wait, let me rephrase the question. All time. Top, what did I say? Top 3, top 5, top 3.
Yeah,
Kiss, really?
He'll body new school and old school. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Okay.
And Styles and Jada come together to me.
Okay, that's a duo.
It's like,
We'll take that.
and third, I like a lot of underground. I mean, I like, next name come up was Vado. I like Vado.
Vado. You have to put
Yeah.
me on that. I don't know who Vado
From New
is.
York. I like a lot of New York rappers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Upstate. Boom
Yeah.
bap
Yeah.
kind of stuff
Yeah,
or
if
what?
we talking about Chicago, then yeah, I would say Twista,
Oh, twist.
Crucial Conflict. Those are my favorites.
Okay.
But it depends. But overall, who I listen to.
Yeah.
See, I can't just listen to good music that sounds good if I don't respect it. It's not a lot of people I respect as people.
Right.
To be honest with you, it's like I can't respect that person as a man. I can't allow that person's thoughts to feed into my subconscious. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's good.
Like for real. So if I respect that person as a man, like I respect Styles P as a man. Well, look at what he's doing as a man in the real world. You know what I'm saying? Establishing juice bars, reestablishing people's health and stuff like that. Teaching health as well and stuff like that. That's important. So that's somebody I can listen to. I want to hear what he got to say.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Jay-Z got to say. You know what I'm saying? I take it very serious when they talk. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, because these are people that's teaching us balance because we know where they came from. They came from nothing. They came from the mud, but they're doing this. So
Yes.
how do you bridge both worlds? The gap between both worlds. I think so. These are people that's examples of it.
I love
I like
that.
Will Smith. Not his music though. Not his music. Not his music. Let me say that. Not his music. I like Summertime, yeah, but I'm not gonna
can't get jiggy with
I'm
it.
not gonna get jiggy with it. But for him to be able to do what he does and stay still mentally stable,
He's done a lot of work.
Disregard the slap.
The slap across America.
But he slapped that man for all of us.
Yeah. Man, that's good to know, and I'm so thankful for you coming on the show. I got to learn a lot about you, a lot about what you got going on.
Thanks for
I
having me.
think the viewers will be very interested in the narrative that you're creating and the movement essentially that you're creating, And so I want to commend you on this
Appreciate you.
extremely high feat. And thank you so much again for coming on. And I appreciate you. And yeah, y'all definitely tap into what he's got going on because, like I said, I don't know. You're like my first person that is like, I'm so excited to know somebody who's like creating a nation, y'all. Like, for real, point blank, period. So yeah, y'all tap in. And thank you again for coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
peace.